Yeah, when it comes to the situation down south of Texas, uh, they have 300 state troopers, or over 300 state troopers in this state. So everyone in Texas, you see state troopers every day. You see them running around everywhere, all over Texas. If Greg Abbott is so heavy on protecting the border, why ain't he sending all those over 300 state troopers down to the border of this state, Texas? Because it's not the state of Texas. The state of Texas don't exist. But yeah, we do use the word "the" because it sounds better when you say the state of Texas. But you're supposed to say state of Texas. When a judge puts, you know, state of Texas versus Nathan or whoever, uh, they put state of Texas, not the state of Texas. So the is not part of the phrase the state of Texas. So he's not doing that. And then it's the same with all the sheriffs. They work for the state. So why is he not sending both of those down there? Oh, because there's counties that don't have police. Towns, real small towns to decent sized towns that don't have police. And so they need those troopers and those sheriffs out there at them. That's one good excuse, to keep them, sending more of their own that's supposed to, that swore an oath to protect everything. The state of Texas swore an oath to protect the state of Texas. They're not doing it. They're not sending them down there to protect Texas or Texans. It's the state don't exist. It's a construct of the mind. It's on paper. It's out your mouth. It don't exist. And so they're protecting Americans in this territory called Texas in America. See, in America we have territories. They're called, and they're labeled Texas, Oklahoma, California, etc. They're territories under America. Now, for the United States government, they are declared as states, and they're part of the Union. Territories cannot be part of a union because territories are controlled by the people. We, the people of America. And so the states belong to the United States government. States united together makes up the government. Without that, then all there is territory. So we can have labeled territories as we have them. So if we eliminate the government, those labels state of whatever goes away, disappears. So I can see that we can still have our labeled territories, but I still think it's stupid. We live in America as a whole. We don't need to be dividing and separating ourselves. God did not say, here's lines in the dirt and everything, separate yourself and label it what you want. And then fight each other over it, and hate each other. You're from here and you're from there. God did not state that. God wants us to love each other. He wants us to come together and be good to each other and all this stuff. That's good. Satan created all of this. Division. Lines in the sand. You cross this line. And they used to be called state lines. Now they're calling them state borders. Because each state is considered a country. Territories are not. They're just territories, like the colonies. They were territories. And they're still territories. I learned it in school. So that did not disappear. We're in two jurisdictions. Territories that are of America and states that are of the United States government and the Union in the United States government. They're all joined together, unionized together. America's not unionized with the United States government. Look for it. You won't find it. We are not unionized with the United States government, Washington, D.C. And so that's not a part of America. It's separate. It's a territory that's inside of a foreign country. It's all it is. It's not labeled as a U.S. State, and it's not labeled as an American state or an American territory. It don't belong to America. It's separate, and they're occupying us unlawfully, illegally, however you want to put it, because they go by legal and legality in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., they can rule over the people there as a dictator in that territory. They can't do that here in America. That's why we have the Constitution. That's why there is a Declaration of Independence that was created in 1776. The Bill of Rights was not created until 1787 or 1789. Yeah, 1789 they created the Bill of Rights because they created the government in 1787, and then they needed to create rules that they call laws of the land, which was only the Bill of Rights first, 1 through 9. Or, no, 1 through 8 is what it really was. 9 and 10 didn't exist until they federalized the government. And then they created the 9th and 10th, and then later the rest were beginning to be created. And after that, for the government, to run the government. You know, if you actually sit there and read it, and you do got common sense, you'll notice that, you know, that's the way it was created. 1 through 10 is for the people to be protected from the federal government and the states. See, the power is not delegated to the government, resides to the states, and then to the people, or to the people. It doesn't say like the powers that's not delegated to the states is then, you know, resides to the people, you know, but it does. It only says one thing, but, you know, it should have said that too, that, you know, the power is not delegated to the state, resides in the people. But the people can't rule over each other. There's nothing that says I can get together with a group of people like they did and then say we're going to create laws and then we're going to force them upon someone. I can't do that. You can't do that. You know, you can't do that. I got my camera over here. Not over here now. New phone. I don't like this new phone. They made it to where there's not a button to where you can hit, you know, for screenshot. You got to use a 3-finger system, and you can't move them like this or anything. You got to keep them still, and then you go from the top and you swipe down. You know, I had to figure that out because I would sit there and do it like this, and you can't. You have to leave your fingers like this and go. Verizon got a hold of TracFone and screwed it all up. But and they created another feature I don't like. It don't make sense. But when it stays on the screen on the side, you can move it around. It's like a, you know, it goes like this, and then it's round at the end, and you can pull it out, and then you punch on it, and it just brightens the screen up and creates black and white, and just like you see like you've seen on TV, where everything just, you know, goes weird. You got bright, and then you got dark, you know, or, you know, with bright, and it's, you know, one side of your face, if it ain't brightened up, it's darker, and this side's brightened up, and like you see now, it's just stupid. But yeah, it's all a show. It's the greatest show on earth. They're working together, and Texas is ground zero for World War III. So they're going to use Texas, because they don't like Texas, to start World War III in. That's what the whole border thing is about. That's what this invasion is about. They're bringing in nothing but mostly young enough men below 40 that will fight and kill us to change this country into something else. They've been doing it forever. And now other countries are waking up and realizing, because they're being infiltrated with Jews and Muslims, that Israel is having them taken over, and invaded and taken over, and they're rising up now. They're already starting a fight. So it's already breaking loose all over the world. So get ready, get prepared, keep your head on the swivel, because these people are here. They're in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, they're everywhere. Because Greg Abbott helped to make sure that these people would be brought into America. Forget the United States and the states. We go with America and the territories. The states are for democracy and Republican. That's all they're for, and the government for elections and all that. That's all that's for. If we went back to America and territories, we wouldn't have that no more. We don't need it. Look at the mess it's called. This is what history has taught us. Every country full of people that has decided, or that was taken over by psychopaths to rule over them because they were weak and didn't know no better. That's how it all started. Psychopaths ganged up together and said, we're going to create this and we're going to force all of them to do what we want. And there's nothing they can do. And we'll go around and take their weapons. We'll make sure we're stronger than them. And that's what's always happened. And then they use sorcery, word games, salad, words, whatever you want to call it, word salads, to trick the people and convince them that they know what's best for us and they can take care of us and keep us safe. All in the name of safety. Oh, got to protect the children. It's all about the children. Now it's the Satanists got all the conservatives and everybody else to now say it's for the children. No, it's for all of us, not just the children, not just for the future of our children. It's all of us. If we all die, nothing but kids are left, and if there's evil people about still, it's still over. They're killing all of us off to get it to where there's nothing but young people that they can control. That's what they're doing. So Greg Abbott's not protecting the border. It's all a show, and they're going to kick off a war. Once they start it, they're going to tell all these sleeper cells in this country, get to it. Attack. See, and it ain't the British this time. The British is controlling it under NATO, but it ain't British soldiers coming in here and doing it this time. They're using everybody else all around this world to come here and take it over. And supposedly there's either over 20 million people in this country that has invaded this country, or over 30 million. That's a lot, 30 million people. And there's only going to be maybe 10 million Americans out fighting. That's ready, maybe. We may not make it. I mean, they've invaded the hell out of us. And I say may not. I'm not saying we're not. I'm just saying may not. But if we do, great, because usually good conquers over evil every time. It's always happened that way. It's been 100%. It can change. Things can change. And it could be different this time. Could be. Not will be. Not is going to be. Not I know. You got to look at the words and the phrases that they use, because they do that. Oh, this may happen, that might happen. Oh, be prepared. And then people get scared. Oh, like it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. It just might, or it may. or maybe it will, but that's what I want to see. I want to see them sending all the state troopers and sheriffs there, and then also they said, well, we're going to need to deputize Americans or Texans to be able to go down to the border. Well, if they're going to do that, well, that's because they want to keep them troopers and them sheriffs everywhere still generating money off the rest of the people that's trying to survive, that ain't got no money. And they're taking people's property, asset forfeiture. Trump made it stronger while he was in because he's for asset forfeiture. Because they told him that asset forfeiture is for drug dealers. And it was a lie. They used sorcery upon him and they manipulated him and lied to him. If he is on our side, great. But if he's not, and if he does put Greg Abbott as his vice president, I'm done with him. I am completely done with him because Greg Abbott's on the side of George Soros and NATO. He's a George Soros agent. He knows what he's doing. He's not stupid. These people are not stupid. You keep saying they're stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They've been doing this since 1000 AC after Christ. It was beginning in 900 AC, and now it started taking off in 1000. And so they have had over 1,000 years nearly to perfect all of this and pre-planning it. So that because they know how to manipulate us. We are stupid. We are the stupid ones. But we're waking up to it, and we have gotten smarter. And we are able to realize it because our ancestors, all the way up to us from then, and when babies are born, that knowledge that our ancestors had as it built up is in us, and so it comes out of the younger ones to see what's going on, to notice what's going on. It might not be a majority; it's a minority. It's a very small minority. It takes that small minority, to wake up the minority or the majority. And it's happening. Over 50% of America, I believe, is woken up. Is awake to this shit. But everybody's waiting for Trump to get in and do something, and it's not going to happen. They're kicking off the war this year. We're only in January still. We're not even in February yet. They're going to kick this war off. And there's nothing you can do about it. But get ready to fight. Or ball up and get shot and die. Because that's what's going to happen. If you got family, you better get ready to protect your family if you love them. You say you love them, show it by your actions, not your words. Or you're a coward. And if any of your family survives, they will remember you as a coward. You bow down and let them murder you. So, and on the subject of all of these police and the justice system, this is what the United States Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch says. He admits it in court during the January 6th, or the trial of the January 6th so-called insurrection. He said this on November 7th, 2022, in court, and it was recorded. I listened to it. And it states, notice and demand to acknowledge Judge Gorsuch's admission of unlawful tribunals used against the people with lack of impartial judges. They're not impartial to us. They're biased to the U.S. Constitution. They're biased or against the U.S. Constitution. They're biased against our rights. Our right to be free. Our right to be happy. Our right to have life. Because when you go in them courtrooms for them tickets or the court precincts, you usually just go in there and pay it. You know, and do you get a receipt? No, you don't get a transaction receipt because they don't keep records. It's not a court of records to keep a record that, yeah, you did this, you know, and then they got paperwork, but they don't give you a receipt stating that you paid them because you didn't buy anything. You paid to be left alone. You paid a tax to be left alone. Now, if you don't want to pay that, yeah, you can go before the judge. But if you do, and you stand there in front of that judge, right in that front, in front of that podium, and you don't go behind the bar and know what to do, you're fucked. They can do whatever they want to. You can't defend yourself. There's no I swear the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, because they're not real courtrooms of justice, like the U.S. Supreme Court and the appellate court. You go into them, you'll find out the difference. If you go and appeal, see, they don't want you to know that. If you walk in there and you stand behind there and you go, I'm this and, or that, and I'm here under a per se or pro se, because that's what they want you to use. They want you to use the phrase pro se, S-E, or pro S-E. And, but you don't know that. I'm here under sui juris, common law jurisdiction, because when you go behind that bar, you open that door and you get away from the judge and you go behind there, you're no longer where he or she needs you. And so the judge is going to look at the paper and says, is so-and-so in the courtroom, and you're by yourself. Why would they do that? Of course, you showed up, and you're there to supposedly represent that all caps name that's on their documents. You don't write your name on there. You don't know why it was created. You weren't told what it was created for in school. They didn't teach you none of this stuff because they wanted you to be dumb and blind and stupid to it. Ignorant. Not educated on it. That's why they do what they do to us. So when you stand behind that bar and you say, I am one of we the people, you don't have to give your name. You just say, I am one of the we the people of America. I am here under in pro se, under sui juris, common law jurisdiction. And that name you have on your documents is not my name. It's a label. And I'm not that label. The state created it. And I do not have the proper license to be able to touch that door on that bar and cross the bar. You don't have that. That's why you have to get a lawyer. They say it's best to get a lawyer because you can't talk to the judge and the judge hear you defend yourself because you didn't swear an oath on the Bible to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So you can't speak to the judge. So the lawyer has a bar license because that's what the license you got to have to be able to cross the bar, a bar license. And then your attorney or whoever they call himself talks to the judge and defends you for you, speaks for you. And you better make sure you got a damn good lawyer, and you're gonna be paying $50,000, $10,000, maybe $50,000 at most. To get out of it all and get your vehicle back out, free and clear of all charges, because that lawyer knows what's right. But when you're behind there and you say all that other, you tell them, I don't have the proper license to cross that bar. And if I cross that bar, are you going to rule in my favor? Because they're supposed to. They're supposed to be the trustee and the referee of the United States Constitution and the state constitution. That's it. They're not supposed to interpret it in their way. And they don't. They don't use it. Because that has nothing to do with traffic court. It has everything to do with protecting you from them. But it has nothing to do with going along with the judge to uphold, protect, and defend. Those judges I don't even think they swear an oath to those constitutions. I think they swear an oath to Washington, D.C.'s constitution. Look it up. Washington, D.C. has their own separate constitution, and that's what they swear an oath to. They don't swear an oath to the United States Constitution. They swear an oath to a different constitution. And they are hired by Washington, D.C. to protect Washington, D.C. and the employees of Washington, D.C. Mayors, governors, and then their employees that they hire. Because why are they able to hire other employees to use against us? There's nothing that gives them that right. But I'm going to read this. This is what Judge Gorsuch admits in the U.S. Supreme Court defending the Jan 6ers. Bar Association members, bureaucrats, and agencies have been using unlawful tribunals under the guise of being courts, the disguise. They didn't even put this, but under the disguise of being courts, to act as judges in cases where the same hearing officer benefits. The officer benefits from you being prosecuted because they get paid to bring you in there. That's how it works. They pay the officer to go out and do business with you through that ID that they demand, because if they don't get that, they can't write you a ticket. They're not supposed to even arrest you. It states it plain and clear in the U.S. Constitution. I gotta find it again, and in a video, because they put up the evidence. What's in the Constitution, what states in the Constitution. They can't arrest you unless you say, I want a lawyer. Okay, you're under arrest. And then you go in there and all that, and you're stuck in there until you get a lawyer, or you go see the judge, whichever comes first. So they hold you in there. If you don't lawyer up and you say what you're supposed to say to that cop, that agent of the state, the department they work for, they're all agents, and they're acting as something else. And they're all peace officers, but they're acting as something else. They're not what they say they are. It's called estoppel by conduct. These tribunals failed to allow judges to act as they would in courts of record, where they would give constitutional due process. Evidence of what Gorsuch had to say in his dissent is an admission of the wrongs done to the people in many cases involved in federal programs where states, the federal and political subdivisions, are being given financial benefits from the same cases they are all taking part in while disregarding fundamental rights of the people. So these judges, or so-called judges, agents of a department, are disregarding our fundamental rights. I am of the people of America, not of Washington, D.C., the United States. Well, got interrupted, so I got to start over on this one part. So these tribunals failed to allow judges to act as they would in courts of record, where they would give constitutional due process. Evidence of what Gorsuch had to say in his dissent on November 7, 2022, is an admission of the wrongs done to the people in many cases involved in federal programs where states, the federal and political subdivisions, are being given financial benefits. See, they're given benefits. They're being paid on the side. It's wrong. from the same cases they are all taking part in while disregarding fundamental rights of the people. This notice is given to you that you may look deeper into this occurrence as a trustee and a servant of we the people. So there are trustees, and they are the trustees of the U.S. Constitution and the state constitution. Because we're supposed to, where our trust is in them to protect our rights, to protect the state and U.S. constitutions, and they're not doing it. Any CPS, Child Support Enforcement, Highway Safety Act, which is traffic courts, what was created under. Traffic courts was created under the Highway Safety Act that the legislative branch created. Or other agency that held tribunals attacking the rights of the people are unlawful. Not illegal, unlawful under common law. The people are aware and demand that the federal legislatures and Supreme Court acknowledge the same above statement. Should there be any further actions or participation in any legislative or executive branch tribunals, it will be understood that you are taking part with full knowledge, malice, and understanding by the people. So we're going to know with full knowledge that they're with malice intent, that they're going to keep doing further or participate. They're going to keep participating in further actions against we the people in these tribunal courts. They're unlawful. They're not supposed to exist like they do. They're not true justice courts. They weren't created under the judicial branch. That's Congress. Congress did not create them. Congress is the one that has to say yes, sign it off. Yes, we'll pass it into law, and then it's a law. Traffic statutes is now law. That did not happen. The legislative branch and the executive branch can't do that. Neither one. They have to have a signature of the people in Congress to go ahead and do it. So that's what's going on. That's what it says. And that's the U.S. Supreme Court's Justice Gorsuch, a judge of the U.S. Supreme Court, has admitted in court.